What's up, everybody? This is episode 6 of the Deep Dive podcast. Today we're talking about expensive versus cheap agents. Let's get right into it. First off, we're going to kind of define what's a cheap, what's an expensive agent, right? By the way, shout out to the weather. It's so much colder right now. Used to be like 100 degrees for the past week, but a cheap agent is what I define it as any agent who does 2% in average and below. 2% and below is what I consider a cheap agent for their services. And the reason behind it is because it's the safe option. Agents will choose 2% commission or less, maybe even a flat fee, in hopes of doing so many deals that the less of a paycheck can counteract itself. They're playing safe. They're scared to ask for more money because they think they won't get the listing. An expensive agent is any agent who charges, I believe, 3% and higher. 3% and higher for their side of the commission. Now, you may be thinking like, hey, what about 2.5%? You know, what are those agents? Are they expensive? Are they cheap? In reality, those are your middle grounders. Those are the people who are too scared to ask for 3 and higher. Or maybe they'll say 3% in the meeting, hoping to go down to 2.5% because they know they won't get 3%. Either way, they're not as great as the expensive agent. They're slightly better than the cheaper agent, and they're just all around average, right? So identify which one you want. And the easy answer and the easy way to think of this is, how much money do you want the home to sell for? If you want what they call top dollar, the maximum amount that your home could sell for, it's very obviously you get what you pay for, right? I mean, I don't have to connect the lines, the dotted lines, for you to know that 3% you should be getting a better service. You should be getting a better home sale, a better process. You should expect to sell for more. Does that mean 2.5% to 2% agent can't sell your home? No. In fact, it's super easy to sell your home. You know, I have no doubt that even you as the homeowner with no prior training, no licensing, can probably sell your home for what it's worth, you know? Whatever the market is, whatever the buyers will give you, I'm sure you could sell it. Only question is how far away from top dollar, right? You got the home sold, but how much did you leave on the table by either cheaping out on the agent or even doing it yourself? There isn't a statistic to kind of point out, this is how much you're losing if you don't use a 3% agent. That statistic isn't out there yet. Hopefully it comes out. But it's a hidden cost that most people are not worried about. And let me break it down to you. You need a negotiator. You're hiring a negotiator to be on your side, to negotiate on your behalf. Your agent wants 3%, you want 2%. They're negotiating for 1%? If it's $1 million house, it's $10,000? If your agent can't even negotiate 1%, $10,000, how do you trust them to negotiate the rest of the 97% of your home? Right? There's a lot more money for you to lose than there is for the agent to lose. You want the home to sell for the price you want. Maybe it's above market value. Maybe you're being a little bit unrealistic about the price. Who's going to get you closest to that price range will probably cost a bit more than you expect. So does the cost of the agent offset the cost of how much more you sell for? Most of the time, yes. But there's a hidden cost separate from the agent, and that's if you don't even sell at all. If you sell with a bad negotiator, if you sell with an agent that just can't, for the sake of their life, get you a deal because they're too weak in negotiations, then you don't have a deal at all. Instead of saving out $10,000 in commission, you lose all profit. I mean, you don't get anything. Whatever plans you had, you wanted to retire, you wanted to purchase another property, you're going to 1031, you're going to move to a different state for your family, for schooling, for work, whatever, it ends right there. And you waste 6 months of your time, life, stress, headache, everything. And the very worst case is that you hire an agent who's inexperienced that will get you in legal issues. That will cost way more than an extra 1% in commission fees ever will. So put very clearly, it's about the negotiation skills of your agent. You have to understand that the second you mention price in a listing appointment, they are already in the negotiation. It's just like when you ask for a salary raise. It's just like when you ask for a bonus from your job, from your work. It's the exact same thing that your agent is doing. If they're not prepared for that conversation, if they can't handle the conversation, if they buckle under the stress of being a worse negotiator than you, the seller, then yeah, that's what you will expect when you go onto the market and list for sale. That's who you have representing you. I mean, think about it like this. If you had brain surgery and you needed to get brain surgery, would you go to the best surgeon in the world that probably is expensive? Or would you just go to anyone who has their license that will do it for the cheapest amount and they say they'll get it done? I'm probably sure that you choose the most expensive one. Now, that's an extreme comparison, but it shows you that price does determine value, right? You get what you pay for. And you can't expect a Rolex to cost $20. It just won't happen. If you want the 2 to 2.5% agent, the cheaper agents, that's fine, but you have to realize that you're probably not going to get the maximum amount of money that you could possibly get for your home. And you might even have some issues when it comes to communication, the process, how smooth things run, because it's a service and it's a continued service. For 3 to 6 months, you are stuck with this guy or girl. And if they don't demonstrate the proper service, the proper communication, the proper negotiating skills, you're in for a horrible experience. You're probably gonna finish the listing and you're gonna think, God, all agents are just shit. You're probably gonna lose faith in all agents. I mean, it's gonna seem like it's all just a big scheme for them to get a quick paycheck from you. But that's usually how sellers feel after dealing with cheap agents, after dealing with agents that give a mediocre service, because they've been afraid to pay for a 3%, a luxury, a top-notch agent that will truly get the job done. And the biggest thing is, you don't even know, like you don't even pay this guy or girl until it's sold. You literally don't pay them a penny until they've proven their worth. That's how it works. You know, if you get an offer that you don't like midway during the listing and that's the best offer the agent can present you, don't accept the offer, get rid of the agent, right? That's the very best they can do. At least they've shown you how much they're worth. If you don't think it's worth the extra 1% in commission, who cares? Use a different one. But that's my 2 cents when it comes to cheap and expensive agents. It's all about service. It's all about how you feel, right? If you go to I just want to give more analogies because it's hard for homeowners to really get a grasp of this because it's such a stupid amount of money, right? $15,000 to $20,000 for selling my house? For putting it on the market? You're gonna get $15,000? That seems a bit stupid. You know, I poured my heart, sweat, and tears into paying off this mortgage and you're just gonna take 3% off from me? You know, so let me give you an example. You want a massage. There's 2 options, $100 for 30 minutes, $10 for 2 hours. You do the $10 for 2 hours, your back hurts, they didn't push the right spots, you still have knots in your shoulders, and you're feeling like you just wasted 2 hours, but you didn't really care because it was a cheap experience. You go to the $100 massage for 30 minutes, they take perfect care of you. Your skin feels luscious, you don't feel a single tense muscle inside of your body, and you feel like you could just fall asleep like a baby. It costed way more, but it's about what you get. And if you want the best for your $1 million home, is spending an extra $10,000, $20,000 worth being able to sell for more, have a better experience, and not get yourself into any legal issues? That's a question for you to ask yourself. Of course, it's a family decision, and I hope that kind of clears the fog of like, hey, why should I even hire an agent who's doing 3%, 3.5%, when there are agents who will do it for cheaper, who are doing the exact same thing? That's my 2 cents. It's about the experience. It's about what the result is. You know, it's not about what you think it's going to be, the theories and the, you know, the what ifs and scenarios that everyone's trying to give you. It's about what actually happens. And if you have a bad experience with an agent doing 2%, if you hire another agent for 2%, it's probably going to be the same experience. I'm sorry. Thank you so much, and hope you have a good day.